and gentlemen, may I present you with Gary Harkness, Shallow Graves, and Who is Sir Gustav Nossel? Shallow Graves and Who is Sir Gustav Nossel? Gary Harkness.
I've been suffering a writer's speaking mental block. I'd done a speech recently and thought, that's it, I'm done. I'm bereft of any ideas. Little did I think then that the next moments at Adelaide Airport and in the ensuing 8 hours, I'd have enough material that the next 5 to 7 minutes do not seem adequate to explain what happened. Having decided that I'd pretty much exhausted all Adelaide's nightlife and things to do, I decided to get myself to the airport well within the 45 minutes required to get onto this cut-price aeroplane, enjoy some time in a bar, enjoy watching the football, and basically just relax and chill out until I needed to depart and go home. The plane arrived diligently there at 6 p.m, turned up at the Arm. It was very encouraging that I'd be home safely, back in time, all good. We were ready to leave there at 6:30, and as the people started to disembark from the plane, things started to turn sour. The very first person off the plane was a uniformed flight attendant with a neck brace. Things were definitely not going well from here. She was accompanied by some paramedics, basically just draped over the chair behind me, and for the next hour and a half, the paramedics attended to her. People were getting a little volatile and cantankerous at this point, and it was a common word as people were heard to say, "My goodness, where is management when you need them?" As I said, given the cut-price nature of the airline, I humorously suggested, I think that's him with the table tennis bats down on the tarmac, directing the airplanes where to go. At about 9 o'clock, the pilot arrived back in to see how his flight attendant was going. He escorted her back onto the plane, and I thought, finally, we'll be leaving soon and I'll be well acquainted with window seat number 14C. Lo and behold, the plane then seemed to reverse away from the Arm and leave. I again encouraged him. He said, no, I think it's an optical illusion. I think it's just the Arm moving back in towards the airport. But no, there it was, our plane leaving without a passenger on board. An announcement then came over the intercom that the flight had been cancelled. You've got two options. You can either await the next flight at 9:30 a.m. the next morning, or we'll give you a refund. I decided to take the bull by the horns and went the refund option. Myself, a friend, and 3 strangers then met at the car rent-a-car desk as we began to negotiate a deal to drive ourselves home from Adelaide. We were given the price, we negotiated that yes, we'll all go fifths in the price. But then apparently we were breaking protocols of the car rental company as they began to doubt whether they'd be able to give us a car to drive home to Adelaide. Well, I was again getting quite cantankerous, and I nearly said, what sort of car rental company is this that you can't hire us a car? Fortunately, I didn't, because on reflection, I thought, well, the car rental person would have been within their rights to say, excuse me, sir, but you're in an airport. See those big things with the wings? That's normally how people get home from Adelaide. We're lucky if we can get these cars to the Barossa and beyond. But fortunately, we decided to do the deal with the car, and all 5 of us, all strangers, piled into the car. And as it so happened, all of us had a Toastmasters background. We'd either competed or cheered on fellow Toastmaster members. And as we set out on our trip back to Melbourne, we all agreed that we'd change driving positions and take turns in driving. It became apparent to all of us that we were actually driving through some of the most desolate, spookiest parts of Australia, basically with 5 strangers. The expression shallow graves was mentioned more than once. And the driving changes became less and less as we became scareder and scareder of getting out of the car in case there was someone lurking behind a tree ready to make some poor Toastmasters club one member short of distinguished club status. But anyway, we got to the point where we had to fill up with petrol, so we got out at probably the most godforsaken service station in the world, quickly filled up, and beside us was a family straight out of a Stephen King novel. So we quickly got back in the car and got back on our way. The radio hadn't come on once at this point. I can assure you it was hijinks, fun and merriment all the way. Being a fairly gregarious person, I said, why don't we play a game of Who Am I? Now, I didn't know these people that well, so I thought I'd keep the people fairly simple. I went with Julia Gillard, Tom Cruise, all guessed very, very easily. There was a chap who was doing the driving that didn't seem part of it though, and I wanted him to get involved in the fun, so I said, well, you have a go. Think of someone. It was 2:20 a.m. and at 3:45 a.m. someone said, it wouldn't happen to be Sir Gustav Nossel, would it? Sure enough it was. Who am I questions along the lines, is he a famous scientist and was he a Nobel Prize winner, weren't high on my list of who am I questions. Did I mention we were pulled over by the police at one point? Yes, that's right. Amongst trucks that were trying to nudge us off the road with truck drivers full of who knows what keeping them awake, the police decided to pull over these 5 Toastmasters in a hire car. I know I'd been umming and ahhing a little too much, but I didn't think it was a punishable offence for the police. Fortunately, they led us back on our way, and we continued on our way back to Melbourne. As I said, I didn't think I had any material, but it was a night full of material, full of fun, full of hijinks. It was basically a scene right out of Planes, Trains and Automobiles, if anyone's seen that film. And just as I was playing I Went Shopping, I think I was about to buy a kettle, we saw on dawn's early light the brilliant town of Ballarat. We were nearly home, we nearly survived this ordeal. It was a fantastic experience for all of us. I've met 4 wonderful people that fortunately didn't put me in a shallow grave in the spooky outcrops of South Australia, and it's provided me with an experience I will never forget. Thank you.